Chess enthusiasts, Robert James Fischer held the title of number 1 and the highest-rated chess player from 1962 to 1972, while Magnus Carlsen has held it since 2010 till now. However, they have never faced each other in a match. Let's analyze both players' thinking, analytical power and performance to determine who would win if they were to fight against each other. And I recently started my new YouTube channel where I will share chess lessons. Subscribe the channel if you want to become a grandmaster like Fischer and Magnus. Okay, first we will examine Fischer's game and then we'll move on to Magnus. d4 knight f6 and Fischer played King's Indian defense. His favorite openings as black are the King's Indian and Nimzo Indian, while as white, he likes to play the Ruy Lopez and the Sicilian. Black can play d6 c6 and b5 if white dares to play long castle. Also you have the d7 e5 knight c6 choice. We have the top book openings by both players. Queen c3 could be played by white, which will meet with the pawn, but he did a center exchange. If Fischer were to play against Magnus, it would be a fascinating show in the world. Knight e2 by Byrne, looking for f4 outpost, and the knight can reroute himself to keeping eye on these squares. b3 bishop a3 is powerful to dominate the dark square diagonal. Knight c6 and black has natural developing moves to grow with each move, akin to a tree growing every day. b3 and Fischer doesn't want that square to put his bishop. He want a6 diagonal because in long run, the knight have a future on d3 square like the Garry Kasparov's octopus knight game. The bishops are looking at each other but they can't do a fight because he are not the rook. That's not a bad thing because if they were rook piece, they might die in a rook sacrifice. Rook f to d1, but the best move was to play rook a to d1. You may wonder that what is the difference between them. If rook a to d1 happen, then after knight d3 queen c2, the rook would be a target, but this position is different. Rook f to d1 by him who faced knight d3, because if you play queen c2 now to target the knight, there is a huge difference. You moved the kingside rook who was defending the f2 pawn. Fischer played knight takes f2, sacrificing the knight to expose the king in a live camera. Black can't play rook takes pawn, sacrificing another material. You need some attacking pieces after you expose your opponent's king. It's not about sacrifice everything you have and at the end sacrifice your king. It's about your piece's mobility. You shouldn't exchange the knight for a rook. However, the knight can be captured by 3 times, sun, moon and the earth. Capturing with the queen will meet up with the bishop. After you capture the bishop with your baby knight, the rook will be fall from Mount Everest. And if you capture with the knight, then you will lose the knight and your king will face 102 degrees Celsius high fever in his hairs. No matter how much you revisit the past, there's nothing new there to see. So in this position, if knight takes rook would happen, then white can simply capture it with the rook and everything would be fine for white. So Fischer played the top engine move knight takes g2, removing one and only defending piece from the king side. I've examined every game Fischer played and discovered that he played with an accuracy ranging from 2700 to 2900, which is slightly more accurate than Magnus games. Additionally, it's worth noting that computer chess was not available during Fischer's time. He had to practice using his mind and chess books, rather than relying on internet chess courses or YouTube videos like today. d4 by him, and can you guess his strategy? Well, he opens up the bishop diagonal, which is gonna useful like a solar panel to generate electricity. Play rook to e1 to deflect the rook from protecting the queen. King here take and black is material up. White has a bungalow, a car and a field, while white only has a tree house without a tree. So in this position Byrne played king f1, queen d7 to blow up the light square weaknesses along with the bishop, capture the knight, and the rook is creating a India-Pakistan border. Queen c2 queen h3 king g1, and you guess the brilliant punch from Fischer. He played rook to e1, top engine move again. Queen can't capture it because of this, and after rook captured bishop captured, the queen can't capture the bishop because of the same checkmate. The queen has to stand with an umbrella to protect the king from the rain. Knight e4 blocks the diagonal, but after takes check rook to e8, attacks to the knight. The king is completely exposed and it will be a checkmate in few moves. King d4 rook check king c4 queen d3 king b4 a5 and queen checkmate. What a game by Fischer. This game showcased 97% accuracy and a performance rating of 3000 elo, absolutely amazing. Let's shift our focus to Carlsen's side because we're examining how Magnus would fare against Fischer and who would emerge victorious. e4 by Carlsen, and we have the Caro-Can defense. Main line after knight takes pawn on e4, bishop f5 and knight f6 are the best choice, and at the time, Magnus doesn't know about the alien gambit, which is why he moved back his knight. Bishop g6 h4 and h5 is coming. You cannot play h5 yourself to prevent h5, because the bishop loses his Instagram followers. Knight h3 to go f4 and capture the bishop. So after knight f6 bishop to h7, play with more actively, mobilize your pieces in the e file and in sudden move, sacrifice your bishop on e6. This is an opening strategy actually. After knight takes e6 queen out queen e2, black can't play castle at all and white is threatening to capture the pawn and attack on the bishop. This will be a completely busted position for black, so in this position, by the prediction of time he played h6, knight f3 knight d7 h5 bishop d3 and they exchanged their pieces. Magnus is not so familiar with Caro. His favorite openings are very similar to Fischer, Rui Sicilian Nimzo Indian Queen's Gambit and English opening. Magnus played an excellent move knight e4, not a best move. Best was to slide away the king, because black can simply capture the knight, but he played queen a5, that move doesn't create any impact on white's position. King d1 castle, and Magnus is a positional player, he has a better understanding of strategy, pawn structures and is more creative in tactics compared to Fischer. However, Fischer plays with more dynamism, is a master of openings and is highly productive in chess. Here Magnus shows his brilliance by playing knight g6, sacrificing the knight to play queen e6 check. Rook can't block it as the g6 pawn will pressurizing the rook, so in this position if you play king h7 then after check take, white has a luxurious position. And what the hell your king is doing here? Be like a flower, instead of competing for attention, let yourself bloom the best that you can. So in this position black played king h8, now you might think of capturing the bishop, but that move will fall immediately as knight d5 will target at your queen and everything is safe in black position, the bishop is hanging there. So in this case, Magnus captured the g-pawn, the h6 pawn is under attack, and if you play any normal kind of 2000 elo move, you will be busted after I capture the h-pawn. Takes queen f7, and how can you stop the checkmate? There are two types of pain in this world, pain that hurts you, and pain that changes you. Queen b6 was the best. It's better to exchange the powerful piece from the board to secure for king. The game would continue like this where white have advantages but he doesn't have any immediate threats. Black could hold the game little bit off, but he played knight g8. This move protects the pawn, so you know what Magnus played. Magnus captured the pawn because he knows that every impossible move is possible when your king is unsafe. If knight captured the bishop, then after take, it's impossible for black to stop checkmate, so black played only best move, rook takes pawn anyway, and if you dare to move up your king then rook h7 will be a checkmate. So here he played knight takes rook, queen takes e7, and this is coming, knight blocks pawn captured. White have prestigious moves to disrupt the king position completely. So king g7 rook row d3, rook g3 is a threat, so rook d6, protecting this rank, and you can't capture the rook at all because of queen e1 back rank mate. It would turn into 200 elo mate, so Magnus played rook g3 check first. King can't move back because of queen e4 check, and it will be a checkmate in 3 to 4 moves. So here, we have rook g6, queen e5 check, king takes pawn queen f5 check. If you escape the king out of the way then you will your rook, and it will be a checkmate in 11 moves. He played rook f6, falling into Magnus' trap, queen d7, checkmate. What a beautiful game by Magnus. He played with 97% accuracy and a 2950 elo performance. That's not bad. If you ask me who the best player is between Magnus and Fischer, I would select both of them. Fischer is not just a player, he is very determined in chess. It is up to you to decide who would win if they had a match against each other. Comment below who you think would win. So wish you all the best. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more. Bye bye. Take care. See you soon.